concluded there was no evidence of foul play in the 2013 death of a Georgia teenager whose body was found inside a rolled-up gym mat at his high school. Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Paulk spent nearly a year reviewing the death of 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson after obtaining the Department of Justice's extensive file on the case. However, Johnson's family says they don't believe the report and they don't care how long it takes. They will keep fighting for justice.
More and more each day, we have students reaching out to us, speaking to us. They are grown now. They are starting to talk. And we have, if it takes 10 years, 11 years to find out the truth, we will be steadfast in finding out the truth of what happened to Kendrick. We will prove that this sheriff department once again lied. We talking about a child was murdered in their school, and they treat us like we are the ones who causes all kind of chaos and problems. Our son was murdered on their school, on their campus.
State investigators years ago concluded Johnson died in a freak accident, and federal authorities never brought charges after closing their case in 2016. I am still, for me, this thing is common sense. Greg, Reese, and Faraji, it's common sense. Because what they basically said is he had shoes at the bottom of this mat. And to get his shoes, he climbed into the mat, which meant he would have to be upside down to get his shoes, and he died. Okay, y'all, this is why I got a problem. Okay, this is I got a putting green here at the office. Y'all know how I play golf. Okay, I'm always putting. This is supposed to be this big old mat, okay? His shoes are at the bottom of the mat. So imagine if I stuck my hand down this hole right, this is a tight hole, stuck my hand down to grab something out, to get to the bottom of the mat. Or I would do this.
Right. Right.
If I got a big old mat, my shoes in the bottom, so I'm gonna climb up to be upside down. Y'all hold my legs to grab my shoes, or we gonna tip the mat over. Hey, grab that shoe. I'm not buying this, Greg.
Come on. Come on.
Well, I mean, I would, quite frankly, love to see Sheriff Paulk call a press conference and say, I'm going to show you how he did it with the assistance of some help. And then we go down there and put his ass, roll his ass up in there and so how, and then maybe, no, you're in there yourself. You can get out your. Now, that having been said, this is why you have a federal government. I love what his mom said. We know what side you on, Roller, Klansman. We know what side you on, white boy. Let's call the feds in here and set your ass on natural fire. You went to 17, but in other words, it's time to stop talking with these people.
But here's the problem, even if you call the feds in. If you didn't do a proper investigation on the front end, it's sort of like the sister in Bridgeport, Connecticut. No proper investigation, no DNA taken that night, didn't check his body, didn't check his clothes, didn't search the apartment. So even though the condom with semen in it and a pill on the table was found 2 weeks later, guess what? You got chain of custody issues right now. So the feds can only review the available evidence that was collected. The whole issue with the videotape, okay? There's so many different things here. And so what people have to understand, the easiest way to get away with the crime, second to never being seen or leaving fingerprints, is to have the police botch it.
Right.
Deliberately or just through screw-ups. And that's the problem. The feds really are handcuffed because all you can go on is the actual evidence collected and make an assessment based upon what you've been provided. That's sort of where we are. It just doesn't pass the common sense test for me. That it just don't. I don't care what it is. If we're sitting here, look, man. I had a drone. I was flying a drone near my house. I was testing it, and the drone gets caught up in a tree. So I'm standing there looking at it. So I can either try to climb this damn tree, or I can go to my garage, get that damn ladder, and then grab a pole that I have, boop, come down. Which one you think I'm gonna do? I'm not climbing that damn tree. I'm gonna think through it. I just don't see how some shoes are at the bottom of a big ass mat and somebody said, let me go upside down to get a mat, and my legs are sticking up, and now I get trapped, and now I suffocate when I could have just tipped the mat over. Faraj, you go ahead. I just don't.
No, I'm trying to wrap my mind around the fact that the feds aren't involved in this case. And I know you just said unless they botched up the investigation. But my thing is, what about the fact that it just doesn't make sense? Here you have a high-profile national case about a black man losing his life in a very under unusual circumstances. Isn't that enough to warrant an investigation from the Department of Justice to say, wait a minute, hold up, look, I know you got your 17 boxes of evidence. I know you've gone through this, but this shit don't make no sense. This just doesn't make any sense that a young man climbs into a mat to kill himself over some damn pair of shoes. It just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, and when you hear cases like this, folks, let's come to grips with something. Racism is still prevalent in this country. Let's come to grips with the fact that in some parts of this country, that black men and black women are being killed wholesale, and then their murders are being covered up and being sanctioned by police departments.
That's right.
And I mean, that's just what it is. Like, we gotta accept that. But I mean, just the fact, and I hope that the Johnson family keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, they got a damn documentary about this case. They've been on this show about this case. I've been hearing about this case for 9 years. And you mean to tell me that the sheriff says, oh, it's closed. The evidence showed that there was no file. What the?
Well, but Reese, here's the deal. The U.S. Attorney's Office, they looked into this. And remember, they closed that investigation. The U.S. Attorney said, the new one said, we're going to take a second look at it. Again, you are hindered by the evidence collection in the initial investigation. Unless there is new evidence presented, unless, again, which is forensic evidence, the father in that clip says people are coming forward, but that's still witness testimony. Something has to be significant in order to be able to change the course of the investigation. Risa, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to clarify for people who are asking about a federal investigation. They did a 3-year federal investigation, the DOJ. I mean, I'm just going to read off a couple of facts about it. They interviewed 100 people. They reviewed tens of thousands of emails and text messages. They reviewed surveillance from this high school. They analyzed a lot of information. They also had an independent Department of Defense medical examiner, independent medical examiner / forensic pathologist. So they had 2 of them, and they reviewed medical records and autopsy reports. However, this is the issue. That's not to say that he wasn't killed. That's not to say that something was not done to him. But what we have to understand, at least as it relates to the federal investigation, is they have to be able to prove a number of things beyond a reasonable doubt. And so the 17 boxes of evidence is actually from the federal investigation. And so, you know, it's a tragic situation. It does not make any logical sense. As you said, Roland, why wouldn't you just move the mat? Why would you turn around and get stuck in that way? And the family's examiner had found, and this is the reason why the federal Department of Justice got involved, that he died of blunt force trauma as from the neck and the jawline. And so there was evidence of something obviously violent happening to him, whether it was a violent freak accident or somebody did something to him and they tried to cover it up. Something happened to Kendrick Johnson that should not have happened. And so my heart really goes out to the family, because it doesn't sound like they're going to, I'm not saying that they would ever be at peace with it, but it doesn't sound like they're going to get the justice that they're looking for. Not necessarily because, I mean, the sheriff's department, that's a different thing, but there are other recourses, which is the federal Department of Justice might not be able to give them what they're looking for, because the proof of who did what, when, and where is not there, unfortunately. And it breaks my heart to say that, because this family is really hurting, and Kendrick Johnson should be alive today, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yep.
So my heart just goes out to the family.
It is. It's just strange.
So,
Back to that Roland Martin unfiltered video in just one moment.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am Roland with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?